So there have been historic flooding that's going on now in Belgium and Germany. Let me show you a news clip on it.
The death toll from the devastating floods in Western Europe has risen to 150, with more than 1,000 people missing. As Karen Greenbank explains, a village in Germany was swallowed up in a landslide.
Live on TV, this Belgian mayor was describing the devastation when it unfolded around him. The wall of a house collapsing, sending furniture toppling into the floodwaters. Two people then spotted scaling the roof to escape, dropping an animal carrier to safety. All this carnage, the result of 2 months of rainfall in 2 days. Thousands of police, soldiers and emergency workers have now been deployed across Germany and Belgium, dealing with everything from homes on fire to landslides. In this German village, the ground suddenly opened up and swallowed several homes. This Belgian woman saying she's been told her house could collapse.
It was utter devastation. It was heartbreaking.
Among the heartbreak, though, there were scenes of hope. These men smashing through a wall to reach an elderly woman who'd been trapped on the ground floor of her heavily flooded building. Then, German residents snatching an emergency worker to safety, risking their own lives to save his. But hundreds of people are still unaccounted for, in part due to phone networks being down. And in Germany, electricity's been cut to more than 100,000 homes.
Overnight they were upstairs and it was dark because there was no light, no power.
Authorities warn the danger's not over yet as the threat spreads to the Netherlands, Luxembourg and Switzerland. In London, Karen Greenbank, 9 News.
Whoa. So this is just out of this world. They never thought something like this would happen there. Nobody ever thought it would happen there. And now it is. And this is just part of a trend. You've all witnessed it. I've certainly witnessed it. All over the world, records are being broken and they're being shattered. The thing that happened in the U.S. recently is, Washington State. It hit around 115 degrees when the previous high was 106. So just almost by 10 degrees broke the record. And it was a colossal heat wave that lasted a really long time. And something almost like half or something like that of the houses there don't even have AC. Some people died as a result of this heat wave. We're now seeing the wildfire season. Last year, we had a historic wildfire season, and it was terrible. Now we're on pace for it to be even worse this year. Australia, obviously, last year dealt with that as well. Now we're seeing flooding. Definitely, the climate of different places all across the world is sort of drastically changing quickly. Every time these climate scientists look at what's going on, they say, oh boy, this is worse than what we predicted the worst case scenario would be. So there is when we talk about climate change, this isn't like something that's coming down the line. It's like, no, we're already seeing the impact of it. Apparently, in the Southwest, they're running out of water. I forget the exact number, but it's about 35% capacity. That's where the water is. It's at 35% capacity where it should be. So, people are encouraged and told to please, take quick showers and don't use excess water. And you just got to sort of cross your fingers and hope that this resolves itself when it comes to the rainfall in that region. It's a very barren region, dry region. But, we should have had a Green New Deal decades ago. The story that really hit me hard the other week is learning about what the wet bulb temperature is. So the wet bulb temperature is this idea that here's what happens when it gets too hot for humans to live in a place. So they say it's got to be it's got to be 88 degrees Fahrenheit with, over 95% humidity. So if you hit 88 degrees Fahrenheit or more, and you're at 95% humidity or more, you can, otherwise healthy people can die relatively quickly. Because what happens is sweating, which is your body's mechanism to cool itself off, it doesn't... There's something that happens with the way you sweat when the humidity is that high that you're not really able to cool yourself off. And so you sort of slowly cook. And it's more and more places in parts of Asia, places in the Middle East, even though that's dry heat, but there's places where it will just simply be too hot for humans to live. So there's going to be mass migration out of certain areas, and other places are going to be overcrowded, and there's going to be wars over water. And everything's changing, and it's changing rapidly. We're not prepared for this, man. We're not prepared for this. And what we should do is we should look at the changing dynamic as an opportunity to lead the world forward. If we did a Green New Deal, and if we invested in renewable technology, it could be a giant boost to the economy, because you could create millions of jobs around this stuff and get the inevitable patents for the future. And instead of doing that, we're dragging our feet, and we still have a government that's beholden to the oil interests. Still have about half of our elected officials don't even believe the climate is changing. Never mind the fact that half of the ones, at least, who believe it's changing either don't want to do much to fix it or don't want to do nearly enough to fix it. So we're in a terrible position right now. And this sort of stuff is going to keep happening, man. You're going to keep having... In some areas, you're going to have excessive heat, wildfires. In other areas, you're going to have too much moisture in the air and more natural disasters like hurricanes ramping up, flooding. I mean, all extreme natural disasters, all of them tick up. And we've seen that, and it's going to keep happening. So we got to act, and we got to act now, or we're going to keep seeing stories like this. And even if we act now, we're probably still going to see a lot of stories like this. So for the love of God, get on it. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.